Welcome to Gemara Academy. In this class we will learn Tosfos Dibur Maschel Kishnei Bnei Adam Dami Upater. Let's begin. Kishnei Bnei Adam Dami Upater. In the Gemara we presented the question of Rabbi Yechanan. If somebody throws an object 4 amas and Rishus Harabim and then he runs and catches the object, what's the din? And we explained that there's two ways of looking at it. Do we say Adam Echad Dami V'chayev, that we look at him as one person and he's chayev? Or Kishnei Bnei Adam Dami Upater, do we look at it as two people and he's pater? So here Tosfos is going to present two gersais of our Gemara, and he'll explain each of their gersais. So let's begin. Pirush, this means, and it's in purple since he's explaining what something means. It's pointing, this Tosfos is pointing to what the Gemara says and explaining it. Pirush meaning, ki heichi de b'shnei b'nei adam, just like by two people, pater arishin, the first person's pater. When one person throws the object 4 amas and somebody else grabs it and didn't allow it to go where it's going to go, the first person is pater. The reason is mishum d'lo avad hanacha klal, because he didn't do a hanacha whatsoever. Since the hanacha that it would have had would have been in a different place. And the other person came and stopped it from having its hanacha. So the first person only has an akira, the second person has the hanacha. So hachi nami, say the same thing over here. Being that this individual himself grabbed it from its path, and he didn't allow the object to go to its destination, he made it land in an area that it wouldn't have landed otherwise. Therefore, it's not a hanacha. Since it didn't land from the strength of the thrower. So the akira and the hanacha become separated because the hanacha that would have resulted from this akira never ended up happening. So this akira is isolated as an akira without a hanacha. The hanacha came from a new strength, separated from the akira. So this hanacha doesn't have an akira. So it comes out that the akira is without a hanacha, the hanacha is without an akira, and therefore the person, it's like he did two halves, as if he participated in one malacha doing an akira, and another malacha doing a hanacha. He's not chayev. Or maybe, kadam echadami, we look at it as one person. The cave and the ovid akira of hanacha, and since this individual did the akira and the hanacha of the throwing the item 4 amas and Rishus Harabim, chayev is chayev, v'lei dami l'shnayim she'asuah. It's not similar to when two people did it. Since over here it's one person, he did the entire malacha, he did the akira, he made it go 4 amas and Rishus Harabim, and he did the hanacha, we look at it as one thing. So this is one way of understanding our Gemara, that do we compare it to two people, and we separate the akira and the hanacha, and therefore the person's pater, or do we look at it as one person, since it is one person, he did the whole malacha, and therefore he's chayev. Now Tosfos presents a second girsa on our Gemara that changes the wording of the Gemara, and he'll explain it as well. Rabbeinu Chananel goes, and Rabbeinu Chananel has a girsa ibcha, the opposite, and it goes as follows: Kishnei bnei adam dami v'chayev. Do we look at them as two people, and therefore it'll be chayev? What does that mean? The Amar leil, because we said earlier on, Amar b'mkeimi v'kibul chayev, that if the first person threw the object 4 amas and Rishus Harabim, and the other person didn't run to catch it, but rather landed in his hand, the thrower is chayev. So our case is talking about the same thing, not that the person threw it and then he ran and stopped it from going in its path, but rather he threw it up, for example, high up, and went the distance of 4 amas, and he moved over those 4 amas, and it just landed comfortably in his hand. He didn't grab it from its path. So v'hochinami here too, ki kibla hu atzmai, when he himself is the one that caught it, v'loi chatva meiluchei, and he didn't stop it from going in its path. He allowed it to go in its own path. L'chayev, he should be chayev. Because he accomplished what he wanted to do. Just like when he threw it 4 amas and it landed in another's hand, he's chayev. Since he did the whole malacha, he accomplished doing that malacha that he intended to do. So to here, when he threw it up and it went 4 amas and he moved over those 4 amas and it landed in his hand, he should also be chayev. Or maybe ka'adam echad dami, we look at it like one person who pater and will be pater. What does it mean when he says it's like one person and it's pater? It's similar to a person who passes an object from his right hand to his left hand. The afal pisha evira dalad amas pater, even if it passes 4 amas, if he extends his hand out one way, it's 2 amas away from the middle of his body, and his hand the other way is 2 amas away from the middle of his body. So when he passes it from his right hand to his left hand, it traveled 4 amas, he's still going to be pater. So the same thing over here, do we look at it that way and say that he's pater? So, and these two ways of looking at it, each of them have many questions, and the Mefarshim discuss it. At any rate, we're presenting the body of Tosfos. The Gemara made a statement, do we look at it like two people or one person? And two people, it says in the Gemara, would be pater, and one person would be chayev. Tosfos explains the basic logic behind that, and then he presents an alternative girsa of Rabbeinu Chananel, who reverses it and says if it's like two people, then the girsa says the person will be chayev and one person will be pater, and explains the basic logic why for two people it will be chayev and by one person it will be pater.